Okay. So is anybody logged on to Zoom?
Nope.
Oh, okay, so we don't have anything online. So, wait,
You'll be like good choice. Be a good choice.
so we might as, that's his. We might as well get started. So now, if nobody's on Zoom, do we have to do a verbal roll call?
No.
No. Okay. 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, we have a quorum. And so does anybody want to make, did everybody get the minutes from the last meeting? Does anybody want to make a motion to approve or any corrections?
Come on, come through. No second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? So we can go on to the updates. So we might as well go to the most pressing, there's other pressing business, but we want to go ahead with the prize update.
Sure. So we are basically fully focused on submitting the Clean Energy to Communities Technical Assistance Grant that we decided to move forward with last month. And yeah, we're basically just getting the whole grant proposal together and submitting it on Friday. And other than that, we're focused on the final goals of the energy prize, which is due in 1 month. That includes signing community solar memoranda of understanding with different site owners. And also doing the home energy surveys. That's like basically what we have to accomplish in the next month are the solar sites and the home energy surveys.
So where are we on home energy surveys now?
We're at about 95 out of 200. So, I mean, most of that has been in the, maybe 60 of those have been in the past month. So we could theoretically get to 200 if we, basically
Well, I'll start
push really hard.
contacting more people to get this other stuff
Yeah,
done. but
exactly. It's on hold until Friday.
If you can spread the word to fill out.
More so your residents than some residents.
It is, it's definitely majority year-round residents. Of course, it would be nice to get even more of them, but we do need summer representation as well, which is, so it's just fine if you find summer people.
So,
Oh, there comes Myra.
so, Myra,
Have you put out a,
hello.
Hi.
Yeah, we have an announcement plan, yeah.
Oh, and also there's we, are offering a lottery for a gift certificate to the Island Market, a couple of them.
Yeah.
And everybody,
Turkeys.
yes, and everybody who fills out the survey will be entered into the lottery.
gambling?
Yeah, hey, if it motivates people to do it, why not? There's that, so I have to say, Crescent has put in an enormous amount of work on pulling this grant together. And the partners for the grant include a number of island organizations as well as something called the Energy Vault, which is a microgrid developer, CMP,
We hope.
the Island Institute.
Don't put that down, yeah.
And
Don't put which part down.
CMP.
Energy Vault and CM,
Oh, okay.
the microgrid developer.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, it's on recording now. Okay.
well, we're working on it.
Possibilities.
Possibilities. All right. And Bill isn't here, so you want to move on to the library and the town office update?
Okay, the town office, we're pushing forward with installing the heat pumps. By the end of the year, we just got the rebate results, and we're gonna get almost $110,000 rebate. From Efficiency Maine in order to install the whole building heat pump. Which is good news, because that means we can afford the whole building heat pump system. And yeah, we're still working on the library lighting.
Now, what needs to be done, I was a little confused when you said about the library lighting, we didn't have it fully completed by the, end of June.
No, it's probably not possible, so, we might be able to put down a deposit like we talked about, but we
Right.
need to talk to Janet about that. But that's a good possibility if we have remaining funds at the end of the month. So we wouldn't have to decide that until the end of the month. That technically, there's supposed to be about, 2,300 left in the budget for the library.
Okay. And what about, I guess we didn't have on here the issues with the thermostat, is that resolved?
I believe Cressica got it all set. I talked with Mert about how we found it. And he said somebody had picked it up, must have picked it up off the floor and set it on the shelf. Right above it, or right below where it would hang from. And he was just curious if someone would have just ripped it off the wall and tossed it, or. I can't imagine shutting the door would have
No.
knocked it off the wall, or somebody didn't lock it in place as mentioned when it was installed.
Yeah, I think possibly somebody took it off the wall to look at it, maybe, and then couldn't put it back on properly. It is kind of hard to do. So that might have been how it got to the point where it fell. So, yeah, we just have to come up with a better way to make sure it stays locked on.
The only thing that I thought of was, I know there was talk about putting a lockbox
Yeah.
over a thermostat, so if it was on there, it wouldn't fall down and hit the floor again.
It's a good idea.
I worked in places that had those boxes with the
Yeah.
thermostats, they didn't want people messing with it.
Well, we had those in school, we just took a paper clip, and kind of bumped the heat up a little bit to get it past.
All right,
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. We just have to determine whether or not it needs a new thermostat. Technically, we should buy a new thermostat.
It's still working because
It is.
we had the bay door open a week ago on Monday.
Uh-huh.
And it was open for 15 minutes. It was just cool enough outside compared to where it's set at 68 or whatever. So it did come on.
It came back on,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, so that means somebody did incorrectly set it on the mounting, spot. Because it wasn't charged then.
And I know typically you wouldn't have a door open in the winter, but I don't know if it's, I don't know who's in control of I don't know how to turn the heat up or down on it. I didn't know if we wanted to reduce the temperature down to like 62, so that way this time of year, if we did have the doors open to clean out the fire station and it was 66 degrees outside, it wouldn't come on.
Is there a way to override the thermostat for a period of time?
Well, there is, I can just walk in the furnace room and shut the emergency switch off, and then you just have to remember to turn it back on. That's what I did a week ago.
So the problem with mounting it so high is that nobody can interact with it. And then when you put it on and you accidentally go the wrong way, it smashes. It's like, oh,
After school, it's still in a minute.
oh, really? It's a kind of stable
Glass,
project.
yeah, I think together, but it is like open.
But yeah, technically, there are two buttons on the front where you can push it up and down easily. But you probably can't see them from unless you're.
Unless you're on the left.
Exactly. So if it's possible to try and see if you can push the up and down button, go for it.
Okay.
You can't hurt it.
Can't hurt it anymore.
is it still working?
Yeah,
Apparently it came back on, so
Yeah.
that means it's recharged.
yeah, I just didn't want the furnace to run when it was 66
Yeah,
degrees
that
out.
makes sense.
So I just went into the furnace room and just shut the switch off and keep it from running. And then turn it on when it went down.
One of the things that came up, that's on my mind is, that we haven't paid for Janice Petzel's, thank you present. And I'd like to get that off the record and get it done somehow.
Yeah, I was gonna come, actually, I just realized it wasn't on the agenda, but I was gonna go through
Okay.
the financial.
We need, I think we need to do that this fiscal year, get it finished.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, so anything else on the library of the town office?
I think so.
So what's,
Light in the firehouse.
It's.
Yeah, still hanging.
Yeah,
I don't know why Bill didn't ask that to be fixed. But we'll have to ask Bill to ask that to be fixed again. And Bill also needs to do those two items, we should really have to you.
whether those
So-
are,
We have, I don't know if this is the appropriate moment, I should have asked beforehand. The outdoor unit for the heat pumps needs to be placed really close to the propane tanks.
oh,
So we wanted to ask you how you thought, whether you thought it was possible that we moved them farther towards the stairs that are there.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to look at
Okay.
it, run it through Janet to see if there's gonna be any issue with moving.
Okay.
And then I just have to take a look to see code issue. I don't know what further
Yeah.
without, just sitting here, I don't know
Right,
what's out back there.
I meant to ask you about that earlier,
I'm
but
talking about the library heat pump.
Bill,
No, the ones at the pump down at the town office, there's two propane tanks that go to the public safety room, so. No, I'll take a look at that tomorrow and travels and see what, if there'd be any issues with us moving them.
thank you. You're welcome. Yeah,
and,
this would be everything. Oh, yeah.
the municipal building is the next thing.
Oh, yeah, the municipal building. So, yesterday we submitted the, congressionally directed spending budget. So, that's all hopefully going to go through and be in the pipeline so that they can get the medical equipment and new furnishings so that the furnishings we have, more of the furnishings we have now can be used by other departments, hopefully like public safety and public safety wants them. And also the solar array, is proposed for, behind the building. Yep, that's what we've submitted.
The charger, anything? Monica, did you have any update on? on that? Okay.
You did get,
Yes, Mark did the
equipment.
Oh,
He
got
did, yeah, he did get the equipment. One of the items was out of stock, I think, so they were trying to go get it. He said he messaged me the invoices and everything.
Yep.
And he also talked about doing, training of some of the equipment with the producing company that it produces.
So the plan is to move the charger to another location, correct?
At some point, yes.
Do you have any idea where that would be yet?
Yes.
Yes, there's a few proposed locations. One is close to the new municipality building. Another one is over by that wooded area between the old town office and the library. And then there's another one.
Oh,
Not like the preschool, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
preschool.
Yeah, it's like the far off,
yeah. So, in my opinion, because it's a wetland in the area between those two buildings, the preschool and the old town office. It may be best to put the EV charger in that area. I have no idea in case, I don't know. I'm not quite knowledgeable about, construction zones and safety for others.
Oh, what about the issues that are connected with safety for the kids and with
That's not medical.
It's gonna be separated by parking spaces from
See, I wasn't sure, I don't know where the proposed locations were gonna be. I wasn't sure if it was just gonna go across the parking lot. Near where we cook chicken in the summer,
That was the proposal, one of the.
because I saw that there was a white dash line that. Dig safe or somebody may have proposed for an electric line in the wind,
It goes through there, yeah.
so I don't know if that's, to me, I have no problem going across the parking lot, like
Okay.
where Mark usually parks, but.
But there's gonna be those new spaces just along there, so they could be there instead of in
Sure,
territory.
yeah, I said, we'll have to wait for him to kind of put the parking lot together to.
Yeah,
I am like, no problem. So Dick, did you have any updates either?
A couple of things.
Yeah.
Just a reminder that the supply part of your electric power bill is unregulated on the utility commission. The distribution and transmission portion of the bill is regulated. That's a CNP portion, and that is regulated by the Public Utility Commission.
Right,
Because the supply is unregulated, you're going to be getting from time to time, things like this, the card from Smart Energy and others trying to sell you power. And almost every case, it's seldom true, there is no savings. They claim savings, but it's always a bait and switch. I looked at the contract is 9 pages long in one of these. So be very cautious. The Maine Public Utility Commission, I had their report on a scam. The company of people calling you and claiming that they represent a utility and proposing to study power.
We'd actually received a phone call within the last month about that.
Yeah.
It was like, we just hung up on them.
My granddaughter, so to speak. You know, it comes from everybody, but, be careful and don't sign up for anything.
right,
You don't have to. The
Right,
standard offer is about 10 cents a kilowatt hour, and no matter what you do, the standard offer is where the utility commission accepts proposals from New Brunswick Power and Next Energy, puts them together and offers those as an automatic supply on their bill. And when they do that, it's pretty, you're within a half a cent of anything you could beat. What weighted in those numbers enough to know that that's pretty close. We're not cheap here, there's no question about that. But we're not, it was several months ago, it was much more expensive. And we were able to knock it down from about 17 to 18 cents a kilowatt hour to 10.5. So we're doing pretty well. And that was because we leaned on the commission. And they were doing their job. And the utilities were doing what they, they were just riding the horse and doing what they could. So if you receive something like this, or if you receive a phone call, if there's any way to bring that into the next meeting and document what you do.
mhm,
So that we can pass the word out and make sure that nobody in our store gets stuck with a higher bill than necessary. So that's my suggestion is save and note all communications, both letter and electronic, from companies other than the standard offer, which is the Princess, New Brunswick Power and Next Energy. And the two big suppliers in the state of Maine right now. And they're the ones that are supplying us today, unless you select another supplier. And you carefully do that for real reasons, like if you have a particular industry. And that industry can use that particular power, then it makes some sense possibly to shop for that power. But for the average residential customer, it does not make sense. So that's my report. But please save any communication that you get from Smart Energy and others, because chances are it's going to be a bait and switch. Because when you go in and you look at the contract and they don't want to show it to you very easily, you got to wade through 3 or 4 hits to get the contract to come up. And when it is, you say, my God, I don't know anybody could sign that. So it's 6 months of cheap energy and then all of a sudden they double it. It's basically what happens. That's my report.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know quite, whether there's something that we can do, we can think about it as far as educating people. Yeah, yeah.
We're at the community, so that's my view, that's what we can do.
For the finances, I forgot to put on the agenda.
We're able to get the community to go to, the out-of-state power as it is now, and to go to Constellation. And that's a reasonable rate. But it's only for municipalities, and then we are rarely at the standard office. So we've been successful, even though we don't have clout, basically, except convincing people.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So I forgot to put the finances on the agenda, but we do need to, so Toby did circulate. I can make a copy if anybody wants
I
to.
sent around some to be passed around there.
Oh.
Dick, if you just take one and pass it down, please.
I've got a copy. You need a copy?
Oh, you're right.
Is it 2 pages?
Yes.
Everybody, yeah, really desperately wants to which way you're going.
Yeah. 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 And then Cressica, I don't know if you said this, did you send this around to everybody?
No, just for you.
Okay. I'll just summarize what needs to be done by the end of the year. So if you want to go over what, without here.
Well, I'm hoping it's clear based on whatever it says. The. Okay, so, it shows the date of transaction, it shows the amount, it shows whether it's a positive or negative. And it shows the balance after that transaction. Then it also shows who the vendor or payee was and what the invoice or check number was. And then finally, any notations that clarify it. So that's kind of where we are now. And at the bottom, I did what I hope is the right figure in each of these categories at the bottom of the page. Taking into account that we received $15,000 and we spent a net of $13,000. That's after rebates and whatnot, leaving us with $36,000. Now I don't know whether that squares with everybody else's stuff. And then most of the activity, to my knowledge, that I've received has been the meeting minutes. And then at the end, you'll see on page 2, we've got fiscal year 2025 that comes in on July 1st. And I don't know if those figures are accurate or not accurate, or what else needs to be added to that list. So we need to come up with a clearer and better budget for the coming year. And I don't, if this isn't accurate, so I need to know whether those figures are right.
Right, and we also need to, see what town meeting passes. We put in the request to them, or Myra did, and, so we'll need to see what the final budget is after the town meeting.
So did we ask for 65?
Yeah, we did. And I never heard back from anybody from Janet or anything about like, whatever they agreed on. If you want, maybe Harriet, I can email Janet and CC, and just kind of follow up and say what was included. I'm from what I heard, I think it was from Melissa that they didn't even, they just kind of, there wasn't any concerns with it. So that's good. But so maybe they said, okay, but I don't know. So I'll do that. I'll write to Janet and CCU just so we know ahead of, if we know, I know the town meeting is this weekend, but yeah, that's all I know. But
Or you can just look in the annual report, which is out now.
oh, that's true. Well, the annual report is from last year though, right? It's not now, so.
It has the proposed budget in the thing.
Oh, does it? Okay, I didn't know that. All right. I haven't seen the annual report, but yeah, so if you have the annual report, great, but I can also ask Janet just to confirm.
So, yeah, the outstanding items, Jessica nicely created a list here. So the gift for Janice, I agree with you, that's been on the budget all year. And who was gonna take care of that?
Well, nobody was assigned to it, so it should be me. So I'll just buy it and send it to her. I mean, I think it's probably better we wait. I think she was traveling a lot for a while. I think she is back and forth between here and Augusta and visiting her other, her daughters in the Midwest. But I will contact her and just find out the best timing because it's a whole tree and I want to make sure she can plant it. She has time and energy to do that. And so, so I'll get in touch this week on that too.
She's away for a couple more weeks.
So what I'd like, and I'd really like to see us do is to break down the figures into details, for example. When we talked about the fire suppression equipment, we got some individual figures. The question is, are those actual
So
figures?
that was already purchased,
Are
right?
they-
Yes, it was purchased for the.
Are they-
2024
Are
fiscal
those
year.
figures true?
It was purchased for the fiscal 2024 year, not for the 2025 fiscal year.
But our budget hasn't been debited for that yet.
Only one of them so far.
Okay.
The other one is in process.
So technically, when this fiscal year ends on June 30th, all the funds expire. Any of the unused funds expire, they don't roll over. And we have to start from square one again with zero and use whatever funds are approved at the town meeting and base our budget on that.
But if the fire suppression equipment, you've got it down in 2025, has already been purchased, or at least some of it already has, but it hasn't been debited.
Well, I haven't seen anything in the town records that indicate that that's happened.
We'll have to check on that.
So I get a printout of everything that's been billed to our accounts.
Hmm.
And it hasn't shown up yet.
Well, yeah, maybe Mert just hasn't asked for a refund from his payment or whatever. I'm not sure how they transfer funds between the two departments, but probably just a quick question to Mert, can you
Yeah,
please
he-
make sure you submit this before June 30th so we can have it in our, budget?
He submitted both of them.
Oh, okay.
One is already on the books as of last week. And one is in process. So it'll show up in.
Okay, well, so there you go, Toby.
So, let me just go.
Okay, it would be helpful if anybody purchases something to give me a full statement of summary of what was purchased. So that I'll know what it was and I can check the town record to make sure it's there so that I can enter it for us because I'm basing everything that I do on the town records. So if it's not official on the town records, I don't know about it. Unless you tell me and then I can check, I don't see it there.
Just
'Cause I-
out of curiosity, what are the town records? What are the records you're talking about?
Excuse me,
What are the town records that you're talking about? Where do you see it?
the town records are through the treasurer, the town treasurer.
Okay, so we have to make sure that Merck's receipts have gotten to the treasurer is what you're saying.
And I get a monthly report from him at the end of each month. So anything that would have happened between the end of last month and now wouldn't be on the.
Okay,
I think it was in last week.
so that's why it doesn't show up.
Okay,
The reason why cell block took about 4 weeks to finally get back with Mert, you're trying to get the salesperson down, putting tag was done, and you finally responded and worked with Mert.
so I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to be as current and accurate as possible,
Right,
and you all can help me with that.
right.
So I guess when the treasurer gets it, you'll get it.
No, I have to ask for it every month,
Okay,
and so
so you need to ask for it.
I get in touch with the treasurer and he sends me the information.
Okay,
And if I don't see it there, I assume it didn't happen.
right.
So that's why I need it from everybody here to let me know it did happen, what the amount was, and what it was for. And then I put that, because the stuff we've been getting this past year, for the records has been really vague. And it says heat pump. Well,
Yeah,
which heat pump? How much did it cost? Well, we know how much it cost. And later on, we find out there's a rebate. Well, what was the rebate for? Oh, it was that heat pump back there. So,
right.
you know, we have to cross-reference everything.
So, so in terms of the remaining money here, most of this money is committed. The big expense, the $30,000+ expense is the town office system that Cressico referred to, and that's on track to get done.
There's one other item in terms of, the community event that we're helping to sponsor,
Yeah,
the Old Home Day, which, I don't know what this is.
yeah,
Kick off the summer bash, something we're not, it's not called. Old
Okay,
Day
it's
anymore.
not,
Unless
okay.
they suddenly change it,
Okay.
I don't know, but yeah.
So, we had been discussing along the way, how much we could, donate to that and then, be present and yeah, be part of the event. And, so we were discussing between, 1,200 and 2,000, and I wanted to propose that we contribute 2,000. Just because of the way the budget, you know, like we had wanted to contribute to a community event. For that amount, so I think we should support, the sporting club's event.
and so there should be enough money after the other things that are on here are paid for.
Yeah,
To do that.
yeah, just barely, yeah.
Technically, as the way I see it, we have two funds that are operating right now. One is the grant fund for $100,000, and the other is the $50,000 that our committee gets, which is dedicated to supporting town buildings and property and any energy that's applied to that. So anything outside of that parameter, we probably shouldn't do it.
Well, I thought some of the financial part of the fiscal year is community outreach, because you still have to educate the residents about the energy committee and what goals and ideas they have.
That would come under the grant.
No,
I
we
thought
have a
we-
budget of $5,000 for community, events. So this
Oh.
is a community event, so we can use it for this. community event.
Is that happening?
Yes,
It is.
Now, when is it happening?
when is it happening?
This is June.
Saturday 29th, June 29th.
That's after the fair rates go up.
I
Very
don't know
rates were
how
going
that
up.
comes down to where's that going to?
So what I'm trying to do is try to say, that after a certain deadline, the ferry rates change, which means that everybody who's used the ferry to come over to island events and benefits something like the outreach program have to pay extra. They already went up. And then we have,
They're already up.
What?
They've already gone up.
They've already gone up.
no, I mean, that happens every year is what I'm saying.
It already
No.
happened.
The increase on the summer prices have already happened.
When's the outreach thing happening
June 29th, Saturday, June 29th,
of this year?
this year, yes, sir, we've been talking about it for several months.
How come nobody heard about it?
Actually, a lot of people in this community have heard about it, so we are sorry you haven't been informed, that is my apology, I should have emailed you directly, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I just, I wanna
So,
figure out what we're spending.
so this is in our budget. So do we need to take a vote on this?
I think so. I mean, this is for a community event, this is a community event. I don't know. I mean, I can be also wrong, but I don't see how this goes outside the purview of what we've already budgeted for personally. So. Of course, you know, that's just me as from why we added it in the first place, but so people disagree, it's fine, but I feel like it adds a little extra layer of unnecessary effort to consider something that's already under something we agreed on.
The other thing which may not get completed by June 30th is the lighting or library lighting, but we talked about making a deposit to the, on the installation to use that portion of the budget, because it's gonna be set up soon. I mean, the lights themselves have already been delivered.
As
So
far
this
as I
is
know,
this is for the installation, the electrician.
has there been any contractor contacted and
Yes.
whatever for those things?
Yes. Yes.
So, you know who that person is, or what company
We're
is
talking
it?
about to Greg Janning, right, for that, yeah.
Who is it?
Greg Janning.
For the lights?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions on the,
And what about, what was that first one you did, not the lights, the other one?
well, we're talking about the sporting club event
Oh,
and the town office heat pump installation, which is $30,500. That's been committed, plus,
is that's not gonna happen, or what?
it is gonna happen.
5 June 30th? Because all bills are supposed to, that all the installations are supposed to be completed and bills paid by June 30th.
Right, well, we've been talking to Solar Logic about exactly that issue. They know that it needs to be done by in that time frame.
That doesn't give us much time.
No,
So we have to put it on next year's budget.
no, I mean,
Unless it's done,
right,
if it's finished,
they're
then
planning
you
to
don't
get it
have
done.
to.
They said they can get it done, but it's been in the works for a while. It's been always fall through, but
Could I have a copy of that sent? Could you send that to me or something?
yeah,
Thank you.
so, anything else on the finances? So Chris had already discussed the ongoing grant applications and, she's done an incredible amount of work on pulling together the grant that actually is gonna go in this week, which is the Clean Energy for Communities, technical assistance program. This grant would supply, funding to, for consultants who can help design the projects that we've been talking about, and also resources through the Department of Energy, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. And it's very competitive, so, you know, they've encouraged us, but you don't know. You don't have it till you have it. But Prescott's put in an enormous amount of work putting these together, along with, you know, others of us have helped, but she's really done the groundswell of the work. Anything else? Any other questions about that? It's not that grant, if even we get it, like I said, it provides funding for the technical assistance to actually begin putting together a concrete detailed plan with all of the detail in it. We would then have to apply for another round of funding to get money to actually build and construct, but there are funding opportunities out there right now, so it's actually an opportune moment to be applying for those things. So,
So do we have a clear understanding of who's in charge of all these various things?
the grant application,
All the stuff that we're trying to do as a committee,
I think so, yes.
because I've never seen a list.
Well,
You know, what I would call a concrete list of, these are the responsibilities of these people. They need to get it done and report.
Well, I mean, that's,
And I know this is a meeting, so maybe I'm out of the loop, but
yeah.
I'd
Well,
like to see that happen, if we could do it.
okay.
I don't think in the time frame by the end of this week we could do it.
What was that?
I don't think we could do it by the end of this week.
No, no. But the grant application
Yeah.
is separate. Yeah. But,
That gives us all,
but I mean, part of it is on the agenda here with the people who are reporting on each of these projects.
but I don't see some of the things on the list, so I don't have a full list. So I personally, I'd like to have one. I think it would benefit everybody. They know who to call on, all that kind of thing. So make our communication more effective.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of folks and a lot of moving parts. I think you could talk to Harriet or Cressica if you had any questions and they can direct you to answers on this. I think that'll be a lot more efficient than, I mean, I think everybody's trying to just ramble right now with this grant effort. So you should just focus on Harriet or Cressica if you have questions, and then maybe afterwards, when there's time, a list of what people are doing would be good, but I'm sure people are doing a lot of different things. So it's probably just better to have 1 or 2 channels of information for the rest of the committee.
Actually, probably would help me out too, since I'm new to this role, to sort of sit down, once the grant is in, and figure out, okay, who's doing what.
Right.
I actually tend to agree with that. All right, so we've kind of gone through all this stuff fairly quickly. Does anybody have any other,
When is the grant application going to submit?
Friday?
Friday,
Mhm.
this coming Friday.
Mhm.
And if anybody, everyone on the committee submit?
It's been posted, it's been emailed.
I don't think I've seen it.
I'll distribute it afterwards. There's no way to look at it.
And
It's
it's
not
not
done.
focused more on the rural prize part, right? Because the rural prize is
Yeah.
helping bring clean energy to the island, the CTC grant was proposed to us by the Island Institute, who's been helping us with the rural prize program. So it's with the outdoor energy hub. It's like, that's why it's not been like deep with information, but like you said, we could, we should think that bigger. Yeah, so but it's.
The-
Working
go.
it out. Thank you.
Okay. Somebody, Cressica, maybe answer, Cressica, is the grant application a Q&A format?
It's a proposal.
It's what?
It's a proposal. It's a proposal.
Based on
Well, there is an
what
RFP.
they sent, right?
Yes, there's an RFP document that asks for a number of elements.
Yeah, and each one of those is itemized in our response. Is that-
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I call Q&A procedure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think Dick's pointed out, if anybody has time to do it, just send it forward so that.
How many pages is it? How many?
30 something, it's quite hard to have a cover letter, a resume, you have to have all this information, you have to make sure you get everyone's support, we've gotten partnership letters, support letters from different entities around the entire island. And it is coming together, I would say that Cressica has done a lot of work to make sure we could possibly get this grant, which could help with the road prize down to submission.
Is that 200 or 1,000?
For the rural prize to.
Yeah.
track.
So do we have enough stuff to do to warrant 200,000?
Um,
In other words, do you have a budget you have to include?
I don't know about the budget, but the 2 things they said earlier was, finding people to sign up, like residents that would like to do solar sites. We're on that, and we're progressing pretty well with that. Another thing is doing the home surveys. We need 200. Currently, we've had 95 responses. Most of that is year-round residents. Hopefully, with the summer residents starting to come in, we can start doing groundwork and getting them to start answering that. Because if we have closer to 200 answers, it helps us even more for the round 2.
So the more data you can put down there, the better. Yeah, to prove that you're doing a good job, right? Which supports the proposal. Yeah.
Well, I think, do we have any other business? Make it a short meeting.
So, can we talk about the $150 that we're supposed to be spending on,
Myra said she was gonna take care of it.
I just texted Janice to check in, like make sure that, you know, because the plan is to order like a tree for her. And I just wanted to make sure that she was ready to receive a tree if I, you know, like just the timing and making sure the type of tree. So I just texted her. So hopefully I'll just order it this week. Certainly it will be done by the June 30th date. And I'll let you know, Toby and Harriet, that it's done, or I'll let everybody know. And then we're all set.
hey, Myra, could we make it simple for you? And, just say, we're gonna send her a check for $150 with a very effusive thank you for the work she did, and wrap it up that way.
Well, I mean, I've already talked to her about the tree, so let me just see what she says. But if it ends up being like awkward, or she doesn't have time to do it, or she doesn't want a tree, then I'm happy to consider that as well. Because yeah, it could be faster if it's like an unwieldy process for her to get a new tree for her home. So yep, but let's start with a tree, and then if not, I'll offer her that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
So, we're gonna move to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know.
Who's second?
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
How many opposed? Anybody?
Oh, anybody opposed?
Looks like everybody's already packing up.
How is Tennessee?
Good, good. It's fun. I'm in it's like my old boss's office now, but yeah, it's nice. It's hotter here for sure, but it's been fun.